Bigheadtaco, and I'm here in San Clemente, California, and look who I have here. I have Grant Brittain. How do you pronounce your last name?
Brittain.
Oh, so it is just Brittain.
Like the country, but with an extra T.
Thank you so much, Grant, for coming to the event. You were invited as just like a guest to sit and watch, and yet we made you do your whole presentation.
Yeah.
But that was fantastic.
I'm like a trained dog.
I guess so.
Or it's like watch the monkey show his slides and talk about himself.
The slides were okay. Let's get serious here.
Okay.
For those of us, no, we don't have to. But for a kid like me that grew up in the late '70s, early '80s, I mean, names like Christian Hosoi and Tony Hawk, they were our heroes. You know, they weren't the Olympic athlete like the Bruce Jenner, stuff like that. These were people that we can relate to. We all had their skateboards. We tried to do their tricks. And you pretty much, I mean, you were like a big brother to them, but you kind of grew up around that scene, didn't you?
Yeah, I was older than everybody else.
A little bit older, though.
But I ran the skate park. And,
yeah.
But I was like the babysitter. Everybody would drop off their kids, and I would take care of them and make sure they didn't do drugs and drink and stuff like that. And they just stayed at the skate park.
And
I kept an eye on them.
But on top of that, I loved your presentation about how you said you started off not as a photographer, but it was just you wanted to capture what was happening, and eventually you're just like, wow, this. And you said you changed all your school courses.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be an artist and probably do cartooning or something. That's what I was into.
Yeah.
And then I started working at the skate park, and then I borrowed my roommate's camera. I was kind of looking at photos in the magazines, Skateboarder magazine, and Wide World of Skateboarding magazine. And I'd go, yeah, that looks really cool. And I'd see the photographers come in, and they'd have these skaters with them, and then I'd see them a couple months later, and they were in the magazine. And I thought, I want to try that. So I borrowed my roommate's camera, a Canon AE1, with some Kodachrome 64. He loaded it for me. I didn't know how to do anything. I shot photos of a local guy, Kyle Jensen.
Okay.
And he was just a local skater. And I shot one roll, and I had a couple of shots come out when I got the film back. And I had no money in those days, so I didn't really have money for film. But I started shooting black and white because it was cheaper than color. And I'd get it developed, but I had no way to print it, or I'd hold it up against the sun and look at them. I didn't have a loop or anything. And then once I got into the darkroom at Palomar College with Sonny Miller, took me in there, who was a photographer, skater, cinematographer, surfer. And he took me in there. He goes, do you want to print one of your negatives? And as soon as I went into the darkroom, I just went, holy crap, this is what I want to do. This is because it was art, it was technology, it was instant, it was just, I mean, not instant like
but you saw it happening in front of you.
Where I really got stoked on it, and I started taking pictures.
So it's funny, it was actually the darkroom that got you.
Yeah, the darkroom got me into it, and that was like a year after I started shooting. I had never blown anything up because I had no money. I think I did some color Xeroxes of some color stuff I had done.
The late '70s, early '80s color Xerox was not very good.
So and then that's when I went in the dark room. The next day I went and changed all my art class. It was the beginning of the semester, so I changed all my art classes. I had 3 art classes. I changed them all to photography. I took 3 photography classes.
Wow.
So
and which is quite unique because a lot of today's photographers, and even back then, a lot of them, they have no schooling in photography. And it's not like you spent 10 years getting a PhD, but you actually were schooled, so you understood how to do the darkroom stuff. Yeah,
but it was through skate photography. Lots of times people think you already shot photos, but I never shot photos until skateboarding. Skateboarding got me into photography, and it was a total fluke. It was that one time borrowing a camera, and it all started there. Well, I've been shooting for 38 years. And I started in 1979.
That's older than Juan.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. I shot for a couple years, still worked at the skate park, and then in '83, Larry Balma, who owned Tracker Trucks, came to me and wanted me to give photos. I'd had a couple of things in Thrasher. Never got paid for anything, didn't work for him or anything. When they needed something from San Diego, they would call me now and then. Tony or Billy Ruff or somebody like that, Gator or whoever. And so he asked me if I wanted to be in this newsletter, and I said, yeah, sure. And I gave him photos for this newsletter, and then he called me one day and he goes, hey, you want to check this thing out? And I went up to Tracker, and there was this magazine laid out, all these pages laid out on the wall.
Wasn't a newsletter at all.
Yeah, like this is code for magazine, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's where Transworld started.
Yeah.
And Thrasher was already going for a year or two, and this was kind of they didn't like, the people down here or the people in the companies didn't like what Thrasher was doing with the whole punk thing and boobs and everything and drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
So they wanted to do something a little cleaner.
Yeah.
And so the first issue came out, and
what year was that? Like
83.
83, yeah.
83, the first issue came out, and we got it they brought it into the skate park, and we were just like, what's this? We were like, there was a thing, be good, and skate and create. And they just didn't get it, it was like non-skaters doing a skate magazine.
Yeah.
So I go, I'm not working for these guys, but there was no other game in town. So you just wanted to get, I was stoked to get my photos in there. I didn't get any money for it or anything.
Yeah.
And then I gave them photos for the second issue, and then probably the third or fourth issue, I started getting involved in it even more. So I was pretty much there from the beginning. Well, I worked for 20 years there, and I was the photo editor.
There you go. Which is basically much the
top
I
was the photo editor for 20 years. Yeah. So, and then in 2003, the end of the year, a group of us left and started our own magazine called the Skateboard Mag. Transworld got bought out by Time Warner, and that's kind of when we went, we got to get out of here. There were, military ads and hair care products and stuff like that. Yeah. So we started the Skateboard Mag, a group of us. And then I worked there from 2004 to 2016, and then
that's like last year.
Yeah, I left in November 2016. And I've just been kind of doing my own thing ever since.
Which is nice.
Yeah, no, I like
you paid your dues. But you have a great catalog of photos. We'll embed them inside the video. But the pictures that you showed, any ones in particular that are memorable?
It's Todd Swank pushing, and it's shadow coming, diagonal shadow.
Yeah.
I call it the push.
Okay.
And then I think that's what a lot of people call it. And it's been, reshot over the years. Where people, I mean, there's been a whole show in Leucadia TFR Gallery.
Oh, really?
And it was all photos based on that.
On that one photo?
By other photographers.
Oh, wow.
No, I was looking at light a lot, and I think I brought, maybe an artistic side to skateboarding, and
clearly you did. Definitely.
Where I was really, as a photo student and a fan of photography and just a fan of film and everything. I just think I was trying to take it. I always wanted to be really high quality,
for sure,
and have an artistic look. I always thought of Transworld as being kind of the National Geographic of skateboard magazines.
It definitely was.
I mean, our travel photos, everything was a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice photography. Even if you weren't into skateboarding, you could kind of see it as like, oh, those are nice photos.
Yeah, for sure.
In any world.
And obviously, being in the end, you were the editor-in-chief for the photo section.
Photo editor.
Photo editor. I mean, you had the final say of what's being done. You were mentioning about you picking the cover photos and having arguments saying, this photo is going to go in.
But it wasn't all me. I mean, it was a bit of a democracy too. Everybody. We all had the final say in it.
Yes.
And then the owner could just
that's true.
Kill everybody.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah.
But
kill them all.
So. Lastly, about shooting film, because this was kind of a film event. How can you describe? I mean, because you and I grew up with film, it's weird because it's like breathing. It's just what we did. There was no other option at the time. But looking back now in the digital realm, because obviously you do shoot some digital. What's your feelings towards this new film generation and what you did in the past?
Yeah, well, I mean, everything I shot before, I think the first digital photos I shot were probably 97, 98. And it's just because I was getting sick of wasting a lot of film shooting sequences.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the stills at all.
Yeah.
And even when we started doing digital, we still shot our stills on Hasselblads and 35 millimeters.
You mentioned that,
in film.
Yeah.
So, I never quit shooting film. All my fine art stuff that I've done for years has been with my Hasselblad and my Leica.
And why? Why do you like those cameras?
I just like the feel of it, and what goes into it, and the thought that goes into it.
You say the feel? You mean the feel of the camera or
the
just image?
The feel of doing something where you have to slow down and not just. I mean, digital has made me super lazy, where I can just go and shoot something and
point
that's
and spray.
okay. Yeah, I'll fix it up in Photoshop. As soon as I get a film camera in my hand, I have to slow down. I have to think. I have to pre-visualize more.
Yeah.
I mean, I always pre-visualize,
even with digital.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's that whole, looking at the image, being able to see the image at the time, and I mean, it's hard to screw up photos now.
Yeah.
With digital.
Yes.
But with print, like when I go on a trip, I shoot digital for the skate stuff, and then I get up. I usually wake up at 6 in the morning, and I'm out shooting photos, walking around town with my Leica, and I'm thinking about things I might print, 2 years away. I might not even work on the film, right away. Like I just turned in 25 rolls of film from at the lab from from April, and I had my digital stuff and my phone stuff. I just like film, and
it's hard to explain, isn't it? It's hard to rationalize.
And it may be a little bit of ego too. It's like where you want to be this craftsman. It's more of a craft.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing. And then I know it will last forever. It's not going to crash unless I have a fire in my house.
Yes.
I'm always going to have that film. I have a garage full of film.
I can imagine.
Slides, like hundreds of thousands of photos.
Yeah, for sure.
And going through them is it's like a new adventure. Every time I go in there, I find something, and I talked today about finding an image that I hadn't seen in probably 20 years.
Yeah, because you misfiled it.
And I misfiled it, and it was upside down in another spot. And I was just looking at contact sheets. I wasn't looking at the negatives.
And the actual negatives,
and I go to negative, and I go, there's that, I found this photo I haven't seen in 20 years. Exactly. I wasn't even sure if I shot that photo. I saw it, and I was stoked, and I went and got it scanned as big as I could get it scanned.
Yeah. So just to wrap this up then, people want to know probably what was your favorite film back then, and what is your favorite film now? My favorite film then and now is probably Tri-X. And I shot, back in the day, in the 80s, early 80s, we shot Panatomic X, we shot Plus X, and we shot Tri-X. Yeah. And then when T-Max came out, we started shooting T-Max, and we got really into T-Max 3200 for a while. Yeah, the P3200, yeah.
Color, I was shooting Kodachrome to start out, and then went into Velvia, Fuji Velvia. And then I was shooting Kodachrome 200 because when that came out, I liked the grain. It had a bit of grain.
Well, the National Geo guys used the 200.
Yeah. It was like a really cool film. And
today,
now,
if you had to pick color for today, what would you choose?
I don't know. I only shoot black and white.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay,
I only shoot black and white.
Oh, very good.
And I only shoot Tri-X unless I'm in Japan or someplace, and I buy Ilford. It doesn't really matter to me anymore. I know Ilford and Fuji Neopan. Do they make that anymore?
The Neopan Acros 100 you have left, I think.
Yeah. But all the black and white, it's just, I don't really go into it deep on what's the contrast going to look like, because I'm going to fix all that up in
post
Photoshop post. Or
okay.
if I was to do it in the darkroom, I'd do it in the darkroom.
Yeah, exactly.
But probably I love Tri-X, and it's been used for.
Me too.
How old is Tri-X?
It's actually, it came out the same year the Leica M3 came out, like 1953 or 1954.
And the history of it,
yes, of course.
and some of the best photos in history have been taken with that film.
Of course.
It's like a Leica. Some of the best photos in history have been taken with that.
Have you seen how many Magnum photographers actually shoot with the Leica and Tri-X?
Yeah.
That's pretty much those are the two.
So why change it?
That's
really,
true. Wisdom.
I like history. You learn so much from history.
That's right. And we're learning from your history.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Sure. So thank you so much for talking, Grant.
Right.
And hopefully we can have you again to do another talk on whenever Phil decides to do another one of these things. And maybe we can shoot a video with you actually working with some of the new generation kid skateboarders.
Oh, yeah,
maybe.
sure.
I think that'd be fun.
I'd love it.
All right. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Grant, for coming on. Thank you, Juan, for being my camera person again. And we'll talk to you soon, and happy shooting.
All right. Thanks.